Hello? Testing. Hello? Hello? Is this fucking... Is this on? No, fuck. Testing. Testing. Hello? Max, is it on? Max, is that corn? You're a corn dog. Hello? I don't know. Oh, wait. Okay. There we go. Hello? Is this the Above It All show today? Everybody, welcome. It is Friday. It is Friday on today's Above It All Industries programmatic broadcast. Yeah! And every Friday, I do a show. I didn't do a show last Friday, though, unfortunately, but today is Friday, and I'm ready to do a show. I'm doing a thing. It's kind of like a show. I'm kind of doing like a live streamed experience thing going on here. Anyway, so there's some news. We're going to be jumping into the news today. This is a news show. I think, maybe. But either way, it's a news show. We're going to be talking about some subjects today that are in the news because it is a news-based program, so that's what we do here. We cover the news. And so we're going to be talking about the news today for the news show. So let's jump in. Is anyone ready to jump in? I don't even know where to start. Let's jump in, okay? Are you ready to jump in? I don't know. I hope you are. All right, so we have an article. I'm going to cover the news here. This is an article in The Hill. Does everyone know about The Hill? It's a news website, and they cover news. In this instance, dozens of Democrats joined the GOP in passing bill on fentanyl-related drug penalties. So, if anyone thought the Democrats were going to do anything good for once, the answer continues to be no, as Democrats are making the drug war worse. They are causing more fentanyl deaths. More people will die as a result of this, and they get to pretend as if they're solving something. So, once again, if Republicans are on board with any sort of drug-based legislation, it is always going to be bad. So, again, what happens when you make something illegal, right? It becomes in the purview of the black market. What happens when you increase penalties on something that is already illegal? What happens is anyone who's in the trade is going to be, just as a matter of self-selection, going to be more willing to engage in risk-full behavior, which in this instance, considering it's a black market, is probably going to involve gangs and large amounts of guns, right? So giving people in these positions more power is not going to help anybody. As well as, do they really think they can actually crack down on fentanyl smuggling into the United States? The only way to do so would be to inspect fully and thoroughly every single piece of incoming mail. I'm talking about letter envelopes. I'm talking about parcels. I'm talking about cargo. Every single piece of incoming mail into the United States would need to be thoroughly checked in order for fentanyl to actually be curbed in any real and significant way. Now, of course, I am not advocating for that, but what I am saying is, if they are not advocating for that, whatever they're pretending that they're doing is doing less than nothing, right? Really, all they're doing is adding more penalties for people, making it harder for people that are addicted to fentanyl to get help, making it harder for people to actually get out of this addictive behavior, as well as a lot of the social circles that organize around it. So the GOP-sponsored Halt Fentanyl Act passed 289 to 133 with support from 74 Democrats who wanted to be on record as supporting legislation intended to crack down on the synthetic opioid crisis. Now, unintentional truth-telling here, this is a synthetic opioid crisis. What do I mean by that? It's made up. They made it up. Fentanyl has no inherent value when it comes to the black market. People are combining fentanyl with other drugs such as cocaine, meth, and heroin to get people addicted to fentanyl because it is cheaper to get fentanyl than the other ingredients, right? So no one, I mean, I'm sure that there's some people that are like, man, I'm going to go try this fentanyl stuff. But most people are getting addicted to fentanyl because they were already addicted to another drug. And then the drug supply line that they got their stuff from has been poisoned. And then they become addicted to the poison, right? So again, this bill is not going to do anything about that. It's not going to change that. In fact, it's probably going to make it worse, right? But again, we live in this fucked up fantasy world where politicians can just do one thing and then pretend like the opposite is occurring because I guess people are too fucking stupid to do anything about it, I guess. I mean, that's pretty much what it boils down to. Republicans say fentanyl and fentanyl-related substances, FRS, I love that one, fentanyl-related substances, FRS, are pouring across the border. The legislation introduced by Rep. Morgan Griffith aims to curb overdose deaths and protect Americans by giving law enforcement the tools needed to fight those drugs. Now, again, this is the thing about the war on drugs, is we've been dealing with the full-scale war on drugs since the 1970s. Since the 1970s. Now, 1960s, you may or may not know, there was a lot of drug-related death in the 1960s, right? So, again, they used that as an opportunity to, there's a lot of people dying from drugs, and this is the Richard Nixon administration speaking. So people are dying from drugs, and us personally, we hate black people, we hate hippies, we hate people that don't like Vietnam, the Vietnam War. So what do? So people are dying of drugs, and we want to put black people in jail so that they can't vote. Right? So that's how we even got here in the fucking first place, because of a bunch of racist fucking people in the White House, right? And so, and it's failed. It's failed. I mean, every single data point that you could possibly plot from, like, let's say 1950, 20 years before the Controlled Substances Act, right? Let's say 1950 all the way up until now. If you look at all sorts of any data metrics, people dying of overdoses, percentage-wise, people who are addicted to drugs, it's all worse. It's all worse. Every single aspect, every single metric is worse. And yet, 50 years into this awful project that has failed in every way, and Democrats are still on board with making more people die. They're thinking, wow, hundreds of thousands of people dying from fentanyl overdoses. Can we get 1 million? Can we get 2 million? I mean, COVID's kind of slowing down. We got to use something to kill these people. That's what Democrats are thinking. Now, again, you might be wondering, whoa, that's a little bit of an explosive thing. Do you really think Democrats are actually wanting to kill people? And guess what? I don't give a fuck whether or not they want to kill people, because actions speak louder than words. When you draft and sign on to legislation that has the direct impact of killing more people, I don't give a fuck if you're too dumb to realize it or not. If you are that dumb, you shouldn't be in that position. And then that turns into a shame on the voters situation. But hey, whatever. Let's keep going. Now, again, the only way you could fight fentanyl, I've already said this, but I want to say it again, is if you were to do mandatory inspections for every single piece of incoming mail into the United States of America, which, in my opinion, is fascism beyond any reproach. That is the only way you can get rid of fentanyl. Why? Because fentanyl is extremely potent in small doses, and it's extremely easy to transport. It's very light on weight. So, again, are they going to do that? I hope not. But, either way, if they're not doing that, whatever it is that they're cutting around the edges is not going to do anything. But it's going to make them feel good, and maybe a couple more druggies are going to die in the process, which let's be honest, Democrats, Republicans, Trump, Biden, one thing they all agree on is let's kill people addicted to drugs. Because people addicted to drugs don't matter to society. Society has decided, oh, you got addicted to a drug? Wait, is it sugar? Oh, if it's sugar, come right in. You're a normal person. Oh, you're addicted to drugs? Is it alcohol? Come right in. You're a normal person. Oh, you're addicted to drugs. Is it caffeine? Oh, that's normal. We're all addicted to caffeine here. What are you addicted to? Oh, heroin. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness gracious. Let me call the police. Oh, my God, you are such a criminal. Right? So, again, it's a bunch of hypocrisy from this country, but this country doesn't really give a fuck. You know, you might see popular support behind legalization of things like marijuana, and sometimes you may even see mushrooms have popular support in legalization. But when you ask an average person, should crystal meth be legal, they're going to say, of course not. Why? Because they've been brainwashed into hating their fellow person by racist people in the White House in 1970s, right? So again, like, it's just part of the culture to look down on people, to spit on homeless people, to spit on drug addicts. It's part of the culture. It makes people feel good, because if someone's life is in shambles, hey, at least they're not addicted to heroin. If someone's life is in shambles, hey, at least they're not homeless. So I'm going to walk along to my shitty minimum wage paying job, spit on the homeless people, spit on the drug addicts while I get there, because that way I get to maintain my position in the hierarchy. That is the average thought process of the American people. I'm not talking about politicians. I'm talking about people in this country. When you ask them if they have any empathy for toward people that are addicted to crystal meth, addicted to heroin, for example, they're probably going to say no, or they may throw something out there like, oh, they need help. Well, how do you help them? Oh, well, you know, we help them by sending them to a steel cage. Right, that's how you help people that are addicted to drugs. By locking them in a steel cage for an unknown period of time, right? That's certainly a great way to do things, you know. Or, better yet, we'll threaten them with a torture chamber, aka a steel cage, because they were addicted to drugs, unless they can give up the gangsters that sold them the drugs, which is again going to put their lives in danger. Okay, maybe you'll escape jail, but now you're going to need to spend the next 30 years in fucking witness protection. Congratulations, DEA. Congratulations, US. So anyway, I'm sick of this bullshit. All these fucking bills and all this law stuff that's just gonna harsher punishments, this and all that. It's a bunch of garbage. And again, if you really actually wanted to combat fentanyl overdoses, what you would do is legalize and regulate safe injection sites and drug production by the United States and the FDA, so that people can buy heroin without accidentally getting addicted to fentanyl. And again, all the data, regardless of your conspiratorial thinking, all the data from countries like Portugal and some even cities and states in the United States, and as well Canada is undergoing a lot of these experiments. All the data points to, when you legalize and regulate drugs, that drug overdoses go down. And again, the term overdose is also a misnomer. This is the thing. It is the year 2023, and people are still parading this overdose of fentanyl myth. There are 0 people on planet Earth, maybe, again, it's possible there's 1 or 2 people that may like fentanyl and not anything else, but there's almost nobody, right? If you were to do a statistical analysis, it would be less than 0.5% of people that are overdosing on fentanyl. What is happening is people are purchasing regular quantities of the drugs that they are used to, and then they are getting a bad batch that was poisoned with fentanyl, which again is going to put it over the threshold of what they are able and capable of doing, which is going to kill them. That is not an overdose. An overdose is when you take more than the amount that you know will end, an overdose is like, again, you have prescription pills that say take 2 pills, you take 30. That's an overdose, right? If you took 2 pills, but it happened that one of those pills was cyanide, that's not an overdose, that's poisoning. Now again, the media, okay? The media and Democrats and Republicans, politicians, they don't understand anything about the problem. So again, I'm going to listen to someone trying to, quote, keep us safe when they don't know the difference between poisoning and overdosing? Really? You don't know the difference between being poisoned and being overdosed. Okay? Those are two separate fucking things. You know what an overdose is? You have 3 too many tequila shots at your fucking birthday party and you wake up in a pile of puke. That's an overdose. Poisoning is when, again, instead of drinking tequila, you're drinking Windex in one of the shots and then you puke up blood and die. Again, there is a difference between overdosing and poisoning, and until the media even pretends to start understanding that difference, I cannot take any of this shit seriously. But again, we live in an authoritarian fascist hellhole, and even Democrats have no problem with spitting on drug addicts because, hey, you know what? It makes them feel good. So, there you go. Anyway, there's my first segment of the day. Folks, speaking of drugs, I did a lot of weed yesterday, so bear with me. I'm still recovering. Oh, God. Got some coffee here. Drinking coffee this morning. This show is brought to you by coffee. All right. This is a good one. So this is a headline. Now, again, I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't read this in advance. I'm saving this one. This is a headline that I saw that really was like, okay, I'll talk about this on the show. Why not? Teen dies on new Los Angeles bridge. That's a hotspot for social media stunts. A 17-year-old boy fell to his death while climbing a Los Angeles bridge in an apparent social media stunt, police said. Police were sent to the 6th Street Viaduct around 2 a.m. Saturday and found the boy, who was pronounced dead at a hospital. His name wasn't immediately released. The teen slipped and fell when climbing upon one of the arches in order to post, apparently, a social media broadcast, Police Chief Michael Moore said Tuesday during a meeting on the Los Angeles Police Commission. Now, before we get into more of this one, I just want to say, you know what? These arches, they look pretty fun to sit on top of. I'm just saying. I'm just throwing that out there. I totally see it. Now, again, not wanting to die, I would not climb one of these arches because I have a fear of heights. Real quick sidebar. There is, there's research into whether or not things like phobias, we're talking about real phobias, not racism or anything like that. We're talking about like arachnophobia or being afraid of heights or stuff like that. There's evidence to suggest, and again, the jury is still out on this one, that trauma is something that alters your epigenetics, which can relate to how you pass genes onto your offspring. So we can make an argument that, according to this theory, that our ancestors, if you're afraid of heights, maybe fell and maybe they got injured, but they survived, and then heights scared the shit out of them, and then thousands and thousands of generations later, we're afraid of heights. But I guess not everyone has that built-in trauma response that keeps them alive, and as we see here, it results in people falling off of arches and dying, right? So again, I'm not trying to make a weird science thing, I'm just throwing that out there for fun. But I guess again, generational trauma, not always bad, when it comes to being afraid of heights, right? The bridge opened last July. The $588 million span, which replaced an 84-year-old Art Deco span, runs 3,500 feet over the concrete-lined Los Angeles River and connects downtown on the historic East Side. A bunch of words that mean nothing to me. The bridge, which has thousands of LED lights and views LA's skyline, is the largest and most expensive span ever built in the city. Like, is span a word that we use to, is that a synonym for bridge now? What the fuck? I've never heard span used in this goddamn context. Oh yeah, that's a span over there. Oh, I'm driving along the span. What the fuck? What, a span? Like, what? I'm sorry, come on now. Can we get back to planet Earth on this one? But police closed the bridge several times after it quickly became a hotspot for street racing, graffiti, oh Lord have mercy, and illegal takeovers that drew hundreds of spectators to watch drivers perform dangerous stunts with their vehicles. Social media stunts abounded as well. In one case, a man sat in the barber's chair for a haircut in the middle of the lanes. A man was also fatally shot on the bridge in January during unauthorized filming of a music video. What the fuck? I want to learn more about that. How come there's no, like, citation? What the fuck? A man was fatally shot on the bridge during an unauthorized filming of a music video. Okay, so you're going to film a music video. How the fuck do you get shot? Did cops shoot him? Did some random vigilante? I want to learn more about that. Anyway, so I want to turn this also into a segment talking about social media, right? What would possibly compel somebody to want to get to the top of an arch where if they make one small mistake, they're dead? Right now, again, this is apparently done for a social media stunt. Think about it. What is social media? It is a drug. That's right. I know a lot of people get, this is controversial. I get pushback when I say this. Social media is a drug in the same way that alcohol is a drug and should be thought of and classified as such. When you go on social media, your brain is exposed to millions of different things that you are not capable of properly understanding, and without proper safety and caution when using the internet, it can make you insane, right? So we've seen this all across the world. But what happens when you give, I don't know, an 8-year-old unlimited access to beer? Well, they may develop an alcoholistic dependency, right? So what happens when you give an 8-year-old or an entire generation of 8-year-olds access to social media every single day? It warps their brains while they're developing, and they become obsessed with clout. They want to become famous, and that is their drug of choice. In this instance, it acts on dopamine receptors in the brain. They want to become famous. They want to get the likes. They want to get the retweets. They want people to do react videos. They want people to talk about them. Their drug of choice is attention, and the way that they can get that drug of choice is the internet. So they come up with bizarre, stupid social media stunts that risk their lives because they know, yeah, you might die, but if you survive, you'll become famous. So it's a risk and reward type situation. They're not properly factoring the risk in, and they're overanalyzing and hyper-focusing on the reward, which, to be honest with you, do you want to become famous? Do you really want to become famous? Do you understand what that does to your psyche? I don't know, man. You see a lot of famous people, they're fucked up, right? So again, it turns into a crazy sort of addiction cycle where you're addicted to the dopamine rush that you get from using social media from a young age. Hey, maybe that might result in you wanting to almost jump off a bridge for views. I don't know, man. Something to think about anyway. But there you go. There's a bridge in Los Angeles, and apparently someone got shot there during a music. I want to read more about that. Fuck this whole guy killing himself for something stupid. I want to hear more about this music video. Lord. I got some seltzer here. I'm just trying to imagine, right? Like, You got your phone in one hand, like, what's up, guys? I'm about to climb the biggest bridge in LA. And then, like, you have, like, some, like, fucking drone, like, does, like, a fucking sweeping, like, you know, establishing shot of you, like, climbing up the bullshit. And you have, like, let's say you have these sparkling, like, you know, those sparkling lights on sneakers that people in, like, first grade wear, right? So, because apparently this is a night or whatever, right? So you're, like, climbing the arch. You got this drone getting the fucking, and it's like, and then, like, I mean, you can still make a video about it. I mean, I'm just saying, there's content here. Like, you might even say someone's dead. The content is now even more valuable. I want to see this guy climbing up the bridge. I want to see the establishing shot. I want to have the epic YouTuber music going on where it goes like, I want to have the whole product. I mean, goddamn, someone sacrificed their life for this fucking art. I want to witness it. So, there you go. Anyway, let's keep going. So this one is, you know, a lot of people have hot takes on this one. And we're going to be jumping in. So, Target. Some people pronounce it Target. And I'm not joking when I say that. I'm not even joking. You know, I had someone in my family who, you know, was not a native English speaker, you know, grandmother who was not born in the United States, had to learn English late in life. I remember one time being a very young person, and, you know, my grandmother was visiting, you know, because she lived multiple states away. She'd come over now and then, stay in the house for a little bit, then go back to wherever, I don't know. I didn't like this grandmother, by the way. She was a little bit of a bitch. She's dead now. Anyway, but one time she dropped a banger, like, and it was totally, didn't see it coming, like, it hit me at a left field, and I remember laughing hysterically, and this is, like, I'm just sharing you, like, some childhood trauma. So, my grandma, who's a bitch, was, like, you know, whatever, it was just, I was, like, 6 years old, and then she was like, oh, I need to go to Target to get something, and I was, like, it pierced me, like, you know, like, in Dragon Ball Z, right, when fucking Goku is, like, battling Frieza, and then Frieza kills Krillin, right, and then there's that, like, part where Goku's going Super Saiyan. That was me, except instead of going Super Saiyan, I could not control my laughter, like, and I got punished for it. Okay, now, again, I know, just bear with me here, I'm going off on a story time, right, so I started cracking up. I was in disbelief that this fucking bitch just said Target. Like, to me, it was the funniest thing in the world. And she got so mad, and then my mom got mad, and then they both yelled at me, and then I wasn't allowed to go get a toy at Target. Anyway, I'm traumatized. That is all to say, Target removed some Pride Month products after threats against employees. So, wow. All right. And then we got the photo of the big ball. Like this is part of Target's brand, is they got this big ass ball that, like, is supposed to be the cover photo. Like, yeah, we all know that big ass ball. And, like, everyone watching this hasn't been to a Target in probably 20 years, but we all remember the big ass fucking ball. So, big ass balls aside, Target is removing some merchandise celebrating Pride Month from store shelves after facing a backlash against the products, including threats against the safety of its workers. The retail giant said in a statement posted on its website Wednesday that it was committed to celebrating the LGBTQIA plus community. Now, I just, you know, like, when these corporations say, like, they're committed to celebrating, what does that mean? Like, I don't know what the fuck that means. You're celebrating the LGBTQIA plus community by selling garbage? Like, that's celebrating the community? Which, by the way, I don't even like the word community here. I think I'm not in any communities. People don't like me. I don't like people. I don't want to be a part of any communities, right? That being said, how is selling people plastic garbage, quote, celebrating a community? Like, I don't know, man. Is Target gonna have, like, a a trans awareness party, like the store closes at 8 p.m. and then every trans person in the city gets to go to Target. They get like 5 free gift vouchers and they get to have a party in the candy aisle. That would be celebrating the LGBTQIA plus community. I have to look over every time, right? But I mean, selling people plastic garbage, like, come the fuck on, man. Like, come the fuck on. But we all know corporations, they got a virtue signal. But that's the thing, is they, like, their virtue signaling is so paper thin, right? So they're like, oh, 1 minute, we want to celebrate the community. Woo! And then, like, a right-winger calls corporate and says, oh, the groomers. And then they're like, well, never mind about that whole celebration of the community thing. I mean, come on, it's just fucking funny. Like, I don't know. This whole thing is just, I find it funny. But you know what else is a little fucked up? And this is something that a lot of people, at least when I've seen coverage of this, are not talking about. Is that, isn't it a little fucked up that a right-winger just threatens to kill people and then, like, major corporations are like, well, you know, we have billions of dollars a year of profits. Are we going to hire security? No. Are we going to, I don't know, do anything to protect the safety of our workers? No. We're going to remove Pride merchandise. Yeah, because that's the way that they protect their workers. You know, and again, how many people, if, let's imagine you're a right-wing Looney Tune and you hate the groomers or whatever it is, imaginary villain in your mind, right? Are you going to keep up with the news? Are you going to learn that, hey, they removed the Pride section? Probably not. You're probably going to go there, hunt down the groomers or whatever, and end up killing people, right? So you'd think this multi-billion-dollar organization, this corporation, would spend a little bit of their profits on, I don't know, security for these fucking companies, or for these stores, rather, that are getting threats. But hey, whatever. It's easier to remove the Pride merchandise than it is to hire like 5 security guards or whatever. But then also, isn't it a little fucking crazy that we just have a whole contingent of, like, again, a lot of people, they get triggered when I talk about this, but it is true regardless of how it affects your feelings. About 20 to 25% of Americans are either Nazis, they identify with and are proud about being Nazis, or they are Nazis who haven't realized it yet. Those are, again, in reality, almost the same thing. The only difference is one of them just hasn't realized it yet, right? Now, again, that is about 20 to 25% of the country. That makes up the Republican Party, right? This has been a documented study over the course of hundreds of years since the Holocaust. People have wondered, how the fuck does fascist thought rise? And studies over the course of that 100 years have found that, well, there's just about 20 or so percent of people that, when fascism comes, are willing to be activated. It's their sleeper cells, you know, that's just what they are, right? When a Nazi tries to rise to power, they're going to follow in lockstep. So that's what I mean when I say 20 to 25% are either, they fall into 2 groups, Nazis or Nazis who haven't realized it yet. Again, I know it's shocking. Look up the research, look up the studies coming out of Italy, coming out of Germany, coming out of Japan, coming out of the United States, coming out of Canada, coming out of all kinds of different countries as well, that have tracked. Yeah, it turns out about 1 in 5, sometimes during very fascistic periods of history, 1 in 4 turn into Nazis. It's just a fact, right? And so, again, the more and more of these people, these sleeper cells, if you will, that are being activated, the more and more are willing to do dangerous acts of violence. And again, we see that. We saw a neo-Nazi shoot up a mall. We saw a neo-Nazi attack the White House, which, by the way, have you seen Joe Biden talk about this? Have you seen any Democrat talk about this? A Nazi with swastika flags tried to kill Biden like a couple days ago. I didn't even cover this because I forgot until right now, to be honest with you. But like, and it's just no one talks about it, right? So, I mean, come the fuck on. Pride Month takes place in June, though some of the items are already on sale. Target did not reply to a series of follow-up questions from NPR, such as which items were removed. Reuters reported the company is removing from stores and its website products created by the LGBTQ brand Ab Pralin. Now, I just want to say this, right? NPR says LGBTQIA+ here Later on, they just say LGBTQ plus. Now I'm just trying to think about it. Like, maybe it's possible, I guess, did multiple people? No, just Joe Hernandez. Like, so one person, I'm just like wondering, like, why not just use the same, phrase each time? Like, just changing it up randomly, removing IA plus, and then, I don't know, man. I just gotta say, I'm a queer person, right? LGBTWXYZ, whatever the fuck, I'm queer. Let's move on from this fucking bizarre initialism bullshit, okay? I'm just saying, I'm just throwing that out there. Queer, catch-all. I know some old people get triggered by it, but you know what? Whatever. Just wait for them to die off, I guess. But that's gonna, I apologize. But anyway, so we got some tuck-friendly swimsuits. That's great. Swimsuits are among a group of products under review by Target. In addition to public criticism about the company, video has also emerged on social media, people throwing pride displays to the floor in a Target store. It really does honestly sound, though, that they need security. This is a multi-billion-dollar fucking conglomerate. They can afford a fucking, security force. I don't know, man. If Target is going to wade in on this is a quote from somebody. I don't even know who the quote is. I didn't read the context. And they're going to put support out there for the LGBTQ plus population. So now we got LGBTQIA plus. Now we got LGBTQ. Now we got LGBTQ plus. What about the IA? What the hell, man? Speaking of IA, we need to get internal affairs to investigate this fucking shit until we figure out what the fuck is going on with this article, Mr. Joe fucking Hernandez. Like, come on now. Like, I'm just having some fun here. I think that once they enter the fray, they have a responsibility to stand by that community. I mean, I would agree, except that, again, it's fucking Target. You really think Target's gonna fucking, we're gonna celebrate the community by selling you plastic? Hey, a tuck-friendly swimsuit, as if no other place on earth sells a tuck-friendly swimsuit. I mean, like, did Target come up with this? Like, come on, man. I've been seeing that shit for fucking years. Not that I'd ever go to a pool. But anyway, man, what the fuck? This whole thing is just showing that America is over. The downfall of society is here, folks. Now, I know people get triggered, but I need you to really properly understand in your head. I need you to put it together that when push comes to shove, at least a quarter of Americans are going to join the side of the Nazis and Adolf Hitler before they join the side of minority people, minority groups, right? People that are queer, people that are black, are immigrants, are non-Christian, right? I need you to really understand that, because until you fundamentally can comprehend the power dynamics at play in the American population, then I don't know, man. I feel like you just have to understand that. I mean, I don't know. Like, to me, it's a fundamental aspect of knowing anything about politics. It's about 1 in 5 to 1 in 4 people are just fundamentally fucked up. And how do you fix it? I don't know. I mean, you have to teach them from a young age to not be Nazis, right? So it's like, I don't know, man. Can you really do anything other than defeat them and hope and pray for the next generation? I don't know. But there you go. There you go. This is coffee, by the way. I like coffee. Everybody, this is the Above It All show. Do you hate Nazis? Because I do. So much so that I play video games where Nazis are the enemies and I shoot them down. I'm talking about Wolfenstein, but also Doom. I recently, and by that I mean this morning, played a Doom level where Nazis are the enemies. So if you want to watch a video of me shooting Nazis down for 2 minutes, go and subscribe to @DoomSpeedruns on YouTube.com. So if that's not an advertisement, I don't know what is. Subscribe today. So, Coming out of the great state of New Jersey, more police have murdered people for seemingly no reason. New Jersey police officer who authorities say shot and killed a 911 caller is charged with manslaughter. So before people start celebrating, I need people to understand that, again, 98% of the time in all of America, police, when they kill someone, don't even get charged. So this now falls into the 2% of the time category. But what is the charge? Manslaughter? Manslaughter. So you show up to a house with a gun, you draw the gun, enter the house with the drawn gun, and shoot someone? And that's manslaughter? That's manslaughter? Really? I mean, outside of the fact that presumably a man was slaughtered, the legal definition of manslaughter kind of hinges on an accident. You accidentally became a cop, went to a house, drew your gun, and shot before knowing who you were shooting? You just did that on accident? Really? Really? Huh. So again, before you celebrate, oh, a cop got charged, they charged this cop with garbage. Garbage. A grand jury has indicted a New Jersey police officer on a manslaughter charge more than a year after authorities say he fatally shot a homeowner. So that's the only reason why we even get a charge, because it's a homeowner. I'm just saying, I'm just throwing that out there. If it was an apartment renter, we wouldn't have gotten that manslaughter charge. You put that HO word in there, home owner, compound motherfucking word. You know about compound words? I learned about those in first grade. Homeowner, you got to have a charge, because if police start shooting homeowners with no charges, then society is going to crumble. Who called 911 to report 2 burglars, the state attorney general's office said. Mantua Township police officer Salvatore Oldrati shot Charles Sharp 3 several times on accident, by the way. Like, I accidentally shot the gun the first time, and then I accidentally shot the second time, and, I figure while I'm making so many accidents, let's accidentally shoot a third and fourth and fifth time. I just accidentally shot the guy several times. Again, what is manslaughter? In the legal definition, it implies that it was purely accidental, not intentional. Imagine accidentally shooting someone 8 times, or however, several could be 3, several could be 20. Why say several? Now, again, just think about it, right? Several. Now, again, cops are professional liars, so think about it. Several is not a number, right? Why didn't they say 5 times? Why didn't they say 3 times, right? Why several? Because they don't want you to know how many motherfucking times they shot the gun. Now, maybe we'll find out later in the article, but again, the further in is buried is the less likelihood of people reading it. So again, several, very purposeful, very intentional, vague language, okay? Now, again, I don't even know how you can accidentally shoot someone once, let alone more than once. I can kind of maybe, you accidentally pull the trigger, you never really touched a gun before, it's got a hair trigger, maybe you don't want to shoot, but they made a move and you just maybe, but how the fuck do you shoot a non-automatic gun accidentally more than one time? I just don't get it. That, to me, I'm sorry, maybe I don't understand how guns work. Maybe if it was an automatic rifle and you just hold the trigger down, maybe, right, you could shoot multiple times on accident, but it's I don't even know what the fuck, I'm sorry, but okay, anyway, let's keep going. A dispatcher shared the information about the armed burglar with responding officers at the time, officials said. The grand jury voted to indict Oldrati on Tuesday. Sharp's life was cut short seconds after Officer Oldrati arrived at the scene while he was still on the phone with a police dispatcher. Attorney General Matthew Plotkin said in a news release. So let me get this straight. You accidentally shot someone multiple times who, by the way, was on the phone with 911 and was presumably talking and saying things that would make it seem like they're on the phone with 911. But it was totally accidental. Totally accidental. Didn't mean it. Manslaughter, bro. What? Seconds after the shooting, Oldrati is heard saying in the body camera footage, quote, "I don't know, the guy came up and pointed a gun." A gun. Okay. A replica 49 caliber gun was found near Sharp after the shooting, according to the Attorney General's news release. CNN has saw a comment from Oldrati's attorney. Now, again, shouldn't you, before entering the scene, I don't know, the guy is on the phone with 911. Can't you get penciled in there, you know, get patched through and make a deal with the guy? Hey, where are you? What's the situation? Right? So again, how do you accidentally shoot someone multiple times? I don't think it's possible. And, oh, wow, he came up and pointed a gun. Yeah, his house was being robbed, okay? So maybe he's going to use a toy gun to try to get the people who are robbing him out of the house. I mean, it's possible, right? I don't know. Oldrati gave no verbal command or warning. Oldrati arrived outside of Sharp's home shortly after another officer, Corporal Robert Layton, official said. As Oldrati got out of the police car, Layton yelled, "He's got a handgun on him right there." According to the news release, Oldrati fired his gun multiple times. Now again, several, and then multiple. How come they aren't telling us the number of shots fired? It's on body cam. They can just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I mean, how many cops or how many bullets were fired? As for the gun replica authorities say they found near Sharp after the shooting, the Attorney General's news release does not say whose it was or whether Sharp had been in possession of it. So now there's even an argument, hey, maybe they planted the replica. I don't know, like, hey, I mean, cops do fucked up shit all the time, right? So it's totally possible. When residents call 911 for service, they are connected, they need assistance, they seek protection, and they trust the officers responding to their calls will respond accordingly and help them. Now, again, anyone that actually believes this, I'm not going to lie to you. There's, like, part of me that's like, you kind of deserve it. You know what I mean? Like, and I know, triggered, I know, controversial, offensive, I know. But, like, you're calling the cops in the year 2023 in the United States of America. You're calling the cops because you think they're going to help you? I mean, hey, man, you know, crazier things have been said and crazier things have been done, but that is right up there, okay? I just want to say that much. Less than 5 seconds elapsed between when Officer Oldrati stepped out of his police vehicle and when he began firing at Mr. Sharp. So the guy pulled up, got out of the car, drew his gun, ran into the house, and unloaded on some motherfucker without asking a single fucking question. You know, I don't know, man. That's crazy. Oldrati could face up to 10 years in prison on manslaughter. Now, again, to me, like, I hear someone, like, drove into the fucking, like, you know, I highly doubt that they were following the speed limit and parked correctly. So they drove probably up onto the sidewalk slightly, you know, jumped out of the car, pulled a gun, ran into the house, and started shooting people without saying anything. Sounds to me like there may be some premeditation there. Now, I'm just saying, okay? I'm just saying. Am I going to say, now I know, oh, well, if you throw a murder one charge and they don't get convicted, he walks. That's just another example of our legal system being fucking stupid, by the way. They want to gaslight you into thinking, well, we don't think we can actually do the appropriate charge and, you know, blah, blah, blah. Fucking gaslighting, that's what that is. But either way, I don't know, man. All I need to hear, you drove recklessly into the front lawn, jumped out of the car, pulled out a gun, ran into the fucking house, and shot someone, and I'm supposed to believe it's an accident. Like, you know, like, really? That's an accident? Huh. Wow. Well, I guess you learn more every day. But there you go, so. So I just want to say, what do you do when someone's burglaring your house? And now again, what you do is if you call the cops, you have to know that there is a good chance the cops are going to kill you, right? So if I'm in a situation where, let's say, I cannot get to a gun that I have in my house or a knife or some other weapon, and someone has invaded my home, but I have my cell phone, and let's say I don't have anyone else on speed dial or anyone that I could call besides the cops, I call the cops. I would be extremely clear about the situation, and I would not tell them where I'm hiding. I would find a hiding spot, not to even hide from the burglars, but to hide from police. Because again, it's a multi-faction shootout going on, right? If cops enter the situation, it is a three-way shootout. You don't want to be involved in that. So if you are in a situation where you genuinely feel like cops are the only solution, you need to do so with knowledge that they could possibly very well kill you, right? So again, I don't know, man. If I'm calling the cops and then I'm standing by the front door with a replica gun, it's not the most intelligent thing in the world to do. I call the cops. Maybe you run out the house. And again, if you can't run out the house, that's a whole different story, right? You run out of the house, you go to a neighbor's house, and then there's all kinds of scenarios where you can more intelligently call police to a scenario. And, again, so I'm not saying that you can't ever call police. There are very narrow circumstances where police are the right thing to call. But when you do so, you need to ensure that that action is not going to get anyone killed, right? Is there a special needs kid that's hanging out in the front lawn that is, that belongs to the neighbor's house, special needs kid who is the neighbor's kid, maybe they're 15, but they love to hang out in the front lawn. Maybe they could get shot by the cops, right? So again, this happens. These are things that occur. So you need to be really aware of the situation before you call the police. And does it suck that that's the world we live in? Yeah, it fucking sucks. I don't like it. I don't want to live in this world. But all I know, I've called the cops before. I've called the cops before in many instances. Well, maybe not, maybe twice, right? And both times the cops did nothing. In fact, one of the times the cops blamed me for a crime that was committed against me and then called me a faggot. So I don't know, man. Maybe my experience is telling me that cops maybe don't solve problems. Maybe that's my own personal experience. Maybe. I don't know. I'm willing to entertain that there's possibly some scenario where cops could make things better. But if it is the case that it is possible, right, it's a 99% chance that it's not going to happen. Let's just be honest, right? The most likely instance when you call the cops is they're not really going to do anything. They're going to say that they're going to do something and then not do anything, right? Again, robberies, they never really fucking solve that shit. Murders, they barely ever solve murders nowadays, right? So it's like the most likely scenario is that it's neutral. They just do nothing and then you just have to deal with being on the phone with cops for the next couple of weeks, which is like, I mean, who wants to do that, right? So, hey, I'm just saying, I don't know, man. I got one more story I'm going to talk about today, and then we're going to jump into the Q-Cock portion of the show. So if anyone wants to brace for impact, feel free to do so. Yeah. So this one comes as a shock to me. Obviously, I only know this person from one thing, and that's the fact that this guy is a genocidal Nazi. But apparently, Ken Paxton is not having a good time. This is the Texas Attorney General who put forth one of the first orders in any state, in the state of Texas, that allowed legalized bounty hunting. If you are a pregnant person and you are trying to seek an abortion, Ken Paxton authorized bounty hunters to track you down and send you to jail. That's this guy. This guy also was one of the first in the nation to authorize legalized kidnapping of transgender children. If you are a parent and you had the audacity to take your kid to the doctor when they were sick, you could have your kid stolen from you because of this guy. So again, for those of you that don't know, that's the kind of person we're dealing with. But shock and awe, he's also a corrupt monster who has now even been so exposed that even the GOP, his own party, is like, yo, we might got to get rid of this guy, man. So, let's read. Following years of scandal, criminal charges, and corruption accusations, Texas's Republican Attorney General Ken Paxton finds himself on the brink of impeachment, and a GOP-led panel is heeding the charge. In a unanimous decision, a Republican-led House Investigative Committee that spent months quietly looking into Paxton recommended impeaching the state's top lawyer Thursday on 20 articles. Like, damn. Like, wow. Like, I mean, like, if it were like a 19, you know, like maybe would have let it slide, but 20 is the straw that broke the camel's back, right? Like, wow, 20 articles, including bribery, unfitness for office, and abuse of public trust. The House could vote on the recommendation as soon as Friday, if that's today. If it impeaches Paxton, he would be forced to leave office immediately. The move sets up what could be a remarkably sudden downfall for one of the GOP's most prominent legal combatants, who in 2020 asked the U.S. Supreme Court to overturn the election. Only 2 officials in Texas's nearly 200-year history have been impeached. Paxton has also been under FBI investigation for years over accusations that he used his office to help a donor. He was separately indicted on securities fraud charges in 2015, but has yet to stand trial. Yo, raise your hand if you've been indicted on securities fraud and 8 years go by and you've never been into the courtroom. And by the way, you get to run for office. And by the way, you can win an election. And by the way, you get to just become a politician. Raise your hand. Everybody? Has it anyone else who got indicted on securities fraud and never had to go to court for 8 fucking years? Really? He was able to delay a court case for 8 fucking years? Holy shit, mother. You know what I mean? So, like, that's the thing with this guy, is whenever Republicans throw out their own, you know that they fucked around way too much. And wow, I mean, this guy somehow was able to push off a lawsuit for 8 fucking years? Like, I'm just impressed. You know, wow. It's a sad day for Texas as we witness the corrupt political establishment unite in this illegitimate attempt to overthrow the will of the people, blah, 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 Paxton said in a statement Thursday, calling the committee's findings hearsay and gossip. You know, that legal case that I've been kicking the can on for 8 years, that whole thing is gossip. It's hearsay, man. I don't like. Wow. By moving against him, Paxton said the rhinos in the Texas legislature are now on the same side as Joe Biden. Oh, and you know what? It's true, actually. It's true. The rhinos in Texas, the Republicans in name only, for those of you that don't know what that means, they are on the side of Joe Biden. And they're on the side of George Soros, and they're on the side of Antifa, and they're on the side of groomers, right? I'm all in. I agree. Ken Paxton's statement gets my endorsement. Fuck those rhino bastards, right? Impeachment requires a majority vote of the state's usually 150-member House chamber, which Republicans now control 85-64, since a GOP representative resigned ahead of an unexpected vote to expel him. I'm sure the Democrats are going to not impeach him, right? You know, of course, because Democrats hate impeaching people. Or, you know, I guess Democrats hate actually getting the job done. They're fine with virtue signal impeachments, but typically when it comes to having any power, you know, Democrats, they get scared. So I mean, maybe all 64 will vote. I don't know. I don't live in Texas. I'm just having a little fun here, okay? It's unclear how many supporters Paxton may have in the House, where he served 5 terms before becoming a state senator. Since the prospect of impeachment suddenly emerged Wednesday, none of the Texas's other top Republicans have voiced support for Paxton. So anyway, you can read more of this if you'd like. Seems this guy is getting fucked up. And also, I think this is just funny. So whenever these guys are yelling at each other, again, what do I say? I say, let them motherfucking fight. Let them yell at each other. Let them call each other communists. Let them call each other rhinos and groomers and psyops, CIA agents from the deep state. Let them have fun while I sit here and make ad revenue on this video. So there you go. Ken Paxton. Hey, he might even go to jail soon. I mean, hey, you get impeached. Why not get convicted? Why not get sent to jail, right? So throwing that one out there, totally possible. And you know what? Would I love to see it? Absolutely. But again, also, you know what you need to keep in mind? It's not like they're going to, a replacement is going to be any better. Chances are the replacement is either going to be just as bad or worse as this guy, right? So, you know, who knows what the replacement would be. Texas is controlled by Republicans, right? So, it's, you know, really ultimately as far as power goes, like it might even get worse as a result. Who knows, right? So, but either way, it's still pretty fun to watch. And that's, you know, the small silver lining here. It's pretty fun to watch. How's everyone doing? Lindsay, someone called a wellness check on you? That is fucked up. You know, the fucking Orwellian term of wellness check, man. That shit is fucked. Like, oh, I'm doing a wellness check. I'm here to help. Oh, God. That's the same, like, that's what happened with that fucking bitch YouTuber in the drama sphere. She fucking called the cops on someone. Like, I mean, like, who are these left-wingers out there that are apparently calling for wellness checks on people? Like, seriously, man? Like, I feel like it is left-winger 101 to be skeptical of cops. Like, that's just my opinion. That's how I view the world, right? The idea that a left-winger is going to be doing a wellness check seems to me like there's some oxymoronic behavior going on here, but that's just me. But I'm happy you're all right. Anyway, this is the QCOC portion of the show, everybody. I will be back. I will be back on Monday, folks. Next week is my birthday. I will be 27 years old on Wednesday of next week. I will not be doing a show Wednesday of next week. I will be doing a show Monday and Tuesday. Now, every birthday I like to consume a large amount of fungus. So there is a very possibility I will not do a show on Thursday either. Who knows how it will go? Who knows what my recovery period may be like? I'm willing to say that I would like to do a show next Thursday. But again, I'm not going to guarantee it because I'm going to be on a lot of drugs. So, but I will be back Monday and Tuesday, for sure. And I will probably be here next Friday as well. My schedule is going to normalize, the week after next week. Again, it's my birthday next week. So, you know, I'm taking some time for myself again. But in June, I'm going to get back to a normalized schedule. So, for those of you that are concerned about that, there you go. But I will not do a show on Saturday or Sunday. I think I'm deciding to skip Sundays. I just, you know, for me, I would rather put more effort into fewer shows and allow myself to do more, side projects. And I do have a lot of them. And there you go. So, how many inches? That remains to be seen. One of these days I'll get a P.O. box. I know I'm a little bit of a lazy fuck. Yeah, I mean, questions, comments, or concerns, you know? Lay them on me. Today is Friday.
Yeah!
It's Friday, everybody. I hope you all enjoy your Friday. That's great if you do. I'm planning on enjoying my Friday. So, this is my last weekend as a 26-year-old. I'm not gonna lie, like 27's a scary number, you know. I'm in my late 20s now. That's a little, you know. I know most of my audience is older than me, but I don't know how you could cope with such a thing. You know, 26 is like, you can make an argument. I'm in the mid-20s, you know. Now it's over. It's irrefutable. I'm an old fuck. So, it's pretty much already over for me. My joints are starting to go. My back is sore every day. I'm starting to forget things. I don't know what year it is. So it's already pretty much over for me. So we'll see. Maybe my golden years will be a little bit better. What do I think about 47? Damn! 47. Fun P, $9.99 birthday fungus fund. Thank you. I don't need any money for that, but thank you. I appreciate it. I will definitely spend the money on something. I will tell you that much. If you these dog toys and these plants get a PO box, damn it. I'm going to request that we maybe can utilize AI technology to convert that to the English language, because I don't quite understand what the fuck that means. How are we going to send money and play the B-Day song? It's tradition. I didn't do a show. Did I do a show on my birthday last year? I don't even know. I'm going to be honest, y'all. I have, over the last year, I've been more concerned, with not being on camera as much. So, maybe I did a show on my birthday last year. I'm going to be honest. I don't remember if I did. I may have. I think I did, actually. Maybe. I don't know. I thought I did it the day before, but I don't fucking know. Dead bitch walking. It's true. It's already over. I actually do have one of those, like, neck massager devices. I mean, okay. Now, for those of you that are not aware or think it's a meme or think it's just a sex toy, I mean, it's definitely a sex toy, and that's great. But, like, these massage guns thing, oh my god, man. Sometimes I'm, like, sitting in bed watching cartoons, and I'm just, like, digging into my neck, and fuck me. Like, wow, it's better than sex, let me tell you that much, you know. Maybe it's just as good, you know, it's in the same region. I mean, damn, you ever get your fucking neck massaged by that little fucking fucked up ball that goes, whoo! Damn, okay, so, just throwing that one out there. So for anyone who has not experienced that, I recommend it. I recommend it, I really do. If you want these dog toys for Max and plants I have for you, get a PO box, damn it, there you go. I don't know if I, like... Are they used dog toys? Because I'm not necessarily sure if I want to give Max a used dog toy. I feel like, you know, he'd want to meet the dog, you know? I always put dildos on my neck. Same. In fact, I'm going to do that as soon as the show is over, actually. So, that's my plan. I'm ready to enjoy my weekend, so... Well, it's 11, and it's 5 o'clock somewhere. Am I right, people? You hear Max in the background. Max is often heard in the background. He is a dog, so that is a fact. He is a dog, and that's what dogs do. Is they exist in the background, but also sometimes in the foreground. For example, Maxie, you want to be in the foreground? You want to be in the foreground? Look at this dog. Look at this dog. He's in the foreground. Max, you're a foreground object. You're a subject, no less. Maxie, you want to come uppy? You want to come uppy? No, he doesn't need to come up. His fucking chair's too low. He's like, I'm not getting up there. I'm fine. Goddamn dog. Oh, you bought new toys for Max the dog. That's incredible. Yeah, I'll work on getting this fucking on this PO box. That's something on my list. It's on the same list as merchandise, so that's the list. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Once again, it is Friday. Yeah! So enjoy your Friday. And just have an excellent evening, I guess. You know, something along that line. Appreciate people for watching. And have a great day and stuff. And all that. Follow me on Twitch. You know? Do it.